Unit 3, Formative 1, Day 4, Slope-intercept form. The first thing we're going to do is review a little bit. Okay, so we got to remember how to find the slope, the x-intercept and the y-intercept from the graph. Okay, so the slope, you just pick 2 points, so here's one and here's one. To find the slope, you go up and then over. So you go up 1, 2, 3, 4. So up 4 over 1, 2, 3, so over 3. So my slope is 4 over 3. If I could simplify that, I would. Okay, my x-intercept is where it hits this x-axis. Okay, so if you look, it hits right here at -3, so that's at -3, 0. My y-intercept is where it hits that y-axis, the up and down axis, and that's up here at +4, so 0, 4. Okay, that's what we did yesterday. Now, I'm going to show you what the equation of this line is. The equation of this line is y equals 4 over 3x plus 4. Okay, so let's talk about this for a second. First of all, you see your y and your x. Okay, so you'll see that. That's going to be very common from now on. All right, where do you think we got that 4/3 from? Well, it's up there. It's the slope, right? So the slope is the number right in front of x. Where did we get the 4 from? That was our y-intercept. Okay, so in order to write the equation of a line in this form, you need your slope and your y-intercept. Do you see the x-intercept in this equation? No, you don't. Okay, so slope-intercept form is known as y equals mx plus b. You should all know that already. If you don't, you should have heard of it at least. Okay, y equals mx plus b. The m represents the slope, okay, and the b represents your y-intercept. So you need to be able to understand that m and slope are interchangeable, and b and the y-intercept are interchangeable. Okay, so y equals mx plus b. Alright, so identify the slope and the y-intercept and then graph. You should have that equation down in front of you, the y equals mx plus b. You find the m right before your x. So right there, your m is 2/3. Okay, m represents slope. And your b, or your y-intercept, is 1. Okay, so you have your m and your b, and that's actually all you need to graph. Okay, and what we do is we first put our y-intercept. Remember, our y-intercept means where does it hit this y-axis? It says it hits at +1, so I'm going to put a point at +1. Okay, that's where my y-intercept is. So you always start by putting where your b is on your graph, and then you use your slope. Remember, rise over run. This is telling us up 2 over 3. So we're going to go up 2 over +3, and you have a point. Now, to make this more accurate, we're going to do it more than once. Okay, so we're going to go up 2 over 3 again, and make another point. Now, up 2 and over 3 is the same thing as going down 2 and left 3, right? -2 over -3 is the same thing as +2 over 3. So you could go both ways. Now that I have a few points on my line, I can go ahead and draw my line. And I just try to get through all those points. Now, if you look, I extended my line throughout the whole graph. I didn't make this tiny little line. Okay, I want to show my whole line. All right, let's try another one. Y equals -1/2 x minus 2. Again, we need to find our slope and our y-intercept. Our slope, or our m, is -1 over 2. Our b is -2. Okay, we always start by graphing the b first. So b is -2. So I'm going to go down to -2 on my y-axis and put my point. Okay, remember, we always start on the y-axis. We either go up or we go down. And then we use our slope. Our slope is -1 over 2, which means I go down 1 over 2. And I could do that again, down 1 over 2. Now, -1 over 2 is the same thing as 1 over -2. So in other words, you could go up 1 but left 2. See how that's on the same line? Okay, so you got to be able to go both ways. And then you draw your graph. So there's my line. Notice again, I extended my line the entire time. You should be putting these graphs on the back sheet, which is the graph paper. It'll make it really easy to graph these. Make sure you get all of this stuff written down, not just the first page. Alright, identify the slope and y-intercept and then graph. So let's do one more, or actually we got 2 more. Okay, my m is -3. Now I like my slope to be a fraction, so if it's a whole number, I'm going to automatically put it over 1. Okay, so my slope is -3 over 1. My b, or my y-intercept, is 5. Okay, so my b is where we start, and I either am going to go up 5 or I'm going to go down 5. Since it's positive, I'm going up 5. and I put a point. So there's my y-intercept. My y-intercept is 5. It crosses that y-axis at 5. Then we use the slope, rise over run. So negative 3 over 1 would be down 3 over 1, or positive 3 over negative 1 would be up 3 and left 1. You got to be able to go both ways. So we're going to go down 3, right 1, or you can go up 3 but left 1. So if you go both ways, you have 3 points on your graph, and then you should be able to make a line that goes all the way through your graph. Alright, one more. Y equals x plus 4. I did this one because sometimes we get confused when they're very simple. We got to remember our m is directly in front of x. Well, what number is in front of x? A 1. So really our slope is 1 over 1, which means my b is 4. Okay, so I'm going to start at positive 4 and put a point. I always start with my b. I go up or down first. And then my slope is positive 1 over positive 1, which is the same thing as negative 1 over negative 1. So I could go up 1 over 1, or I could go down 1 left 1. Okay, so there's my line. So start with your b, use your m both ways. Alright, we'll see you tomorrow.